We're here, 11 a.m. ish. By 11:30. Excuse the slight delay for folks who were expecting anything. We're still in Caribbean time. You understand? Haiti Biz news. Lots of news to talk about today. Lots of news to talk about. We got lots of things to discuss. Kanye West is in Haiti. Oh my goodness, that's something that I know a lot of folks are waiting on a proper discussion and a perspective on. We have lots to discuss. Lots of things have happened across different sectors, and I'm looking forward to having a very productive episode. Folks, come on in, pile in, grab a seat. Good morning to folks wherever you may be out here in the interwebs. Right, my usuals come in, and for folks who don't know what this is, and we're gonna be throwing that intro in a second. Intro is gonna explain most of that here, right? And of course, it's a one-man show. I'm just me, and so I gotta let the intermission play for just a little bit as I take care of some things behind the scene. I will be back in 5 minutes. Haiti Biz News, September 27th. All right. Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News show. It's Sundays weekly. This is SeeJeanty, Haiti Biz News show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. Haiti Biz News show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened. We're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we're doing here, of course, is Haiti Biz News show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Haiti Biz News show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News show. It's Sundays weekly. This is SeeJeanty, Haiti Biz News show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. Haiti Biz News show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened. We're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we're doing here, of course, is Haiti Biz News show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. You know, Haiti Biz new show. It's Sundays weekly. This is SeeJeanty, Haiti Biz new show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic conditions. You can always catch us live every Sunday. Right? Haiti Biz new show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, focused, economically focused on what has happened. I'm going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz new show. You know, I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Haiti Biz News Show. Hello, good morning. Thanks for sticking around through the intermission as I work through the back ends here. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, through Periscope, and Instagram. Of course, those who are watching on Instagram, keep in mind, Instagram has a 1 hour limit. After 1 hour, you must migrate over to real social media, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. That actually allows for an hour plus in live streaming. But feel free, as always, folks, drop your comments. We read everything live on air. Let me say what's up to lovely King Magni. What's up, Ketley? So Ketley, bonjour. Yours truly, PL. Good morning. Marika Star, good morning. Bounce Bougie 11, regular. How you doing, bro? Good morning, man. Natalie Champagne. First time I've seen Natalie Champagne in here. Happy to have you. Certainly happy. Hope to see you every Sunday. We're here at 11 a.m. to discuss what we're about to discuss per usual, right? What we have, lots to talk about, but you got to go through the usual announcements per se for folks who may be new to what we have going on here. D'ailleurs, après toute émission ça, tout ça fait en anglais. C'est là qu'il m'a respect pour que là, une corrélation qui connecte nous tous. Mais émission ça fait en anglais parce que il y a une nécessité pour monde qui là-bas qui a dû baser plus en anglais, il y a un côté qui a recevoir des informations dans un langage qui m'a dit préféré. Même moi-même, même dans mes grands acteurs là, avec une famille qui des bons langages là, une communauté qui aussi respectée. Mais m'a dit à plusieurs moi pas de connaître qui ça haïtien par rapport à ça vieille image CNN, Fox News tout bail ça yo. Et en plus m'a dit il y a l'autre côté que nous-mêmes comme haïtiens nous avons recevoir l'information nous propre côté actuellement Guinée toute radio sur on quoi poser de machine là-bas c'est un langage ça yo baili et ou bien radio métropole ou bien Bamako ou bien méga radio ou bien radio Caribé et en plus ou bien monde ko Giwewe ou bien monde ko Inda Johnson Napoléon tout le monde ça yo c'est créole doit faire bail mais c'est bon c'est bien pour nous mais si nous pas un côté qui nous a information dans un langage international avec nous qui seulement nommé Miami Herald seulement nommé CNN seulement nommé Fox News qui est encourager nous pas j'aime qu'à développer nous pas j'aime qu'à respecter nous parce que nous avons un côté qui nous a expliquer ça qui là qui ça qui existait qui ça qui possible est-ce que nous ouais so mando étant pris monde qui nouveau dans channel là bon petite chance là ben espace ça une petite chance pour bailler des histoires des topics des informations des explications sur topic Haïti dans le langage pour l'autre monde qui comprendre l'autre monde qui rentrer l'autre monde qui fin ouais que Haïti c'est pas seulement une seule image vive il y a plus de possibilités plus d'activités qui a fait et OK that's it monsieur bien rapide pour compréhension okay so that's the usual just quick disclaimer for a lot of the folks who they usually get furious absolutely furious that the word Haiti is discussed and Creole isn't associated with it. I always take a little bit of time to first affirm that I have tremendous respect for our language first and foremost. Secondly, I take some time to explain that listen This is the space where we have to speak international language to bring in folks who only hear about Haiti from places like CNN, places like Fox News, places like Miami Herald. And if you get your news exclusively from these places, Haiti is a complete chaotic man-eat-man society that you should stay very far away from, which is not true because I'm in Haiti right now. I've been in Haiti for 3+ years living, and I am absolutely fine, right? So thanks for that. Thanks for sticking around that little Creole section as well. YouTube, SeeJeanty has a tremendous new episode. You know, it is, bananas in terms of very popular, and it's on Patois Pizza. Patois Pizza is, my goodness, man, it was so hard to edit that video. You know why? Because this is the first time we did an interview in a restaurant where actually we're doing the interview while we're eating. Like, myself, and usually just myself, I eat in a section and then we just talk, me and the owner. But this time we actually, for the entirety of the interview, right, we ate. And so now editing that sequence was very difficult because as I'm editing, I'm remembering how delicious that pizza was. Those pizzas were, right? So help ensure that my pain of editing this video or helping edit this video wasn't to waste. Do go watch that video and make sure you're not hungry. Okay, make sure you've eaten before you've gone and watched new SeeJeanty video. Okay, because I'm telling you, you're gonna leave hungry if you aren't watching on a full stomach. Okay, so again, YouTube SeeJeanty, the Patois episode is on. For those who are interested, of course, I put this really for folks who really want to contribute to SeeJeanty directly. You'll see the ticker below. You'll see the hashtag $SeeJeanty, and that's a Square Cash connection. And you're more than welcome to $5, $1, whatever it may be. A lot of the videos you see when I go out of Port-au-Prince, and usually the biggest complaint I get is I do so many darn videos in Port-au-Prince. I do that through the contributions of you guys, really, because I have a whole team behind me, and get that whole team to a hotel to make sure they get fed. Get pretty expensive. That's why, though I love going on deal, it's not nowhere as common because of costs associated with it, right? And so, your contributions do get added to the war chest. Every single penny, I'm very transparent. Every single penny gets added to the war chest. And if I don't use it to go and travel, right, I use it for, stuff like, for example, I have a brand new webcam. Folks are complimenting me on how crystal clear it is, right? So, so that's just out there. If the feeling so much hits you appropriately, but for everyone, I mean everyone, you please share the stream. I mean, you can provide as much impact to the channel, more impact potentially, if you just share the stream. Share it on your Facebook right now. Share it on your WhatsApp. Share it to a friend or two who you know is going to appreciate what we're going to be covering, what we're going to be talking about, how we're going to be talking about it. Right. So share the stream. Of course, leave a comment. You guys are my co-host, right? You guys, I do this in this format really so I can communicate with you guys, so I can talk with you, right? Because it's so far it's a one-way relationship where I'm putting out content, you're seeing stuff, you might be commenting, but this is an opportunity for me to directly communicate with you. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. I read everything. I respond to it as much as I can, right? So and it's I don't want to be necessarily a one-sided show either. Right. I know a lot of folks have a lot of experiences and perspectives of Haiti on particular topics. So I'm more than welcome you to go ahead and provide that perspective as well, which I'm sure other people who are watching today will also appreciate. Right. So thank you, guys. Let me hop back into the chat. Let's see what folks are saying. And we can give some IG some attention. Let's see what we got going on. A lot of waves. I want to wave back to everybody. Appreciate everyone who's in the Instagram world. We got Romento Trigger says, you're doing a great job, man. You me come and bring my non-Haitian friends with me the last couple weeks ago. That's awesome. I'm really happy you were able to enjoy Haiti and even bring some non-Haitians with you. So I much appreciation on that. I'm sure you changed a lot of stereotypes too, I think, right? So appreciate that, Ramel. Much love. Mayor Saint Germain, what's up? What's up? Says, bro, I discovered your channel. I'm trying to watch all your videos in 24 hours. They're so informative. Thank you, man. Thank you. I have, that's Netflix careful, when it comes to binge content, because I have a lot of content. And it's an absolute pleasure to have it available for folks to be able to capture and watch and experience, right? And so thank you, Mayor, for taking time out to get caught up and listen. We're only getting started. This is when you look at the entire history of the portfolio of SeeJeanty, what we will be dropping, man, I'm only getting started. So thanks for coming in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you have notifications on when we have new content out. All right. Meme, what's up? Good morning. Max 1673, what's up? What's up? Why did Kanye go to Haiti? We'll be talking about it, man. Don't worry about it. We got that on the agenda. Daniel Dodar, session of Philly Dom was dope. Hey, man, for those who don't know, I had a really good time with Philly Dom last night. It was just, I was, it wasn't this SeeJeanty, right? It was Chris Jeanty. It was just me, the me over there, just hanging out. I had a nice drink in my hand, which I'm actually feeling because of it. I think I sipped a few too many sips. But we had a good time, me and Philly. In fact, I regret it was so short. I was looking to go a little longer. I was having such a good time, but Philly was having some technical issues on his end. But for those who wanted a very informative deep dive conversation about Haiti and a bunch of different things going on, please go head over to Philly Dom's channel. You'll see a conversation we had. But Philly Dom is Philly is the what's that guy's name? Philly Dom is the Joe Rogan of Haitian YouTube. That's what I like to say. So do go watch that. Philly has a way to disarm folks and you're just gonna have an open conversation. So again, really enjoyed it. Do go check it out after this stream. Pete, good morning. What's up? How are you? You got D Dem Vam. Put a mirror on your face. If you put a mirror in front of your face and see a listen, it's up to you. Okay. All right. Jay George. Hey, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Good to have you, George. Ronald Etienne. Big ups. Jay Saint. Good morning. Is Haiti required to report to IRS if an American citizen has more than 10,000? Yes, actually, yes. In fact, if you do open a bank account in Haiti and you are an American, they suspect you're an American, and simply by your accent, right? You will fill out a special form. Get the form number or name, but it's a special form that they will then forward to the IRS. So even without 10,000, right? And then of course, when you do transactions over 10,000, yes, those transactions will be reported to the IRS. Now, if you slowly compile money under 10,000 to the point where you have a bunch of money, you really need to declare it around tax time, or you're gonna get in trouble, right? Because you're not, there's specific provisions against Americans stockpiling money and not declaring that money to the IRS from a distance. So, long story short, treat your banks in Haiti like you're in America if you're an American. Okay. Pierre Dimezza, good job, camera and editing. Appreciate it. Thank you. Wesley, what's up? Good to have you. Hollywood, Florida, in the house. And good to see you today, Wesley. JD, good morning. All right. Let's see. She's expanding on what she wrote there. She said, if you put a mirror in front of your face and you see ugly, it's up to you to change that. It has a lot of negativity because the bad often outweigh the good. It's up to Haitians to change the narrative. Okay, thanks for clearing that up from that smaller snippet. And I totally agree with you, Dee. Definitely agree with you. Spread the good news is in here. Says Haiti's condition is because we turn our backs from serve false gods. The Bible outlines. All right, to each their own, I suppose. We're not here to this is a space of many opinions. We need not agree with every opinion voiced, right? But nonetheless, just go ahead and spread the good news there. Just don't be spamming. Linda, brilliant. Did you read the text? Did you read my text or any of them? I don't know who you are. Bounce Bougie 11, an interview with Naomi Osaka would be great, man. If you can make that happen, right? Karine Ducerner, good morning. Randy Vincent, good morning, right? I enjoyed, JD says, enjoy watching content, inspiring, appreciate it. No problem. Are you married? I'm pretty sure this ring would mean I'm married, unfortunately. One of your subscribers wants to propose, but she's from Russia. Unfortunately, my wife wouldn't like being proposed from Russian women, unfortunately. Loving life. Good morning. SeeJeanty, always well, loving life. Appreciate it. Thank you. Spreading life is a no, probably blocked for speaking God, but so be it. Just don't spam. I think there was a person spamming the other day. I think I had to block that person. Listen, to each their own. I don't necessarily agree with you. And I'm not going to make this a religious debate. You know what I mean? This is Haiti Biz news, and we're going to stick to business news. But you're more than welcome to, spend a Sunday morning typing scripture to a business channel. More power to you. So Mega says, Saikin La Chef, that tax form is a W-9. Okay, so if it's a W-9, if you say so. I don't remember what I filled out. Carl Abraham, let's see, but our foundation father had a law that blacks can come to Haiti in 1805. It's correct. We had the original Haitian Constitution was very, very welcoming to people of African descent, right? Particularly if you're a former slave. And hopefully one day we can get back to that, very much similar how Ghana is opening its borders for African Americans to come back. Certainly, I hope Haiti not only finally respects its diaspora, but takes it up a notch and really opens its doors to all Black people as we were originally founded to be a safe haven for Black people across the world, right? Particularly in the Western Hemisphere. Jude, what's up? Jude says, well, we'd like to congratulate you on your Haiti project. You're doing a phenomenal job. Been in Haiti for the past 10 years. Running a bed and breakfast, can't complain. That's awesome. We got Nikki Dupex, St. Jean. Thank you for the show live from St. Jean, Tampa. That's great. Peter J. Tenna says, can I be a monitor? Not sure what that means. But good morning there, Peter. Love and Life follows up, says, what's the real reason for Kanye? We're going to talk about it. And Nikki Dupex says, stick to English. Thank you. We see your vision. We got you. Appreciate it. No problem. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything on IG. Morning, Philly. Philly D. Charles. Philly D. Charles. What's up, bro? Good to have you in the IG this morning. We got Kid Solo. What's up? So I got something. Get something live. What was you right there? Numa form, anyways. I do got numa form no lá no QB. Okay? Okay? All right. So what headlines? Just run through the headlines really quick, right? COVID, still a thing. We're going to talk about it. Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act, CBTA, right? Really good stuff happening related to that. I really can't wait to get to that piece of news. A good currency increase. I ain't looking forward to getting that this story, right? I'm experiencing this. It's not good for many people. Bank debit interpolability. We'll talk about what that means. We'll get to that news story. Import regulations. There's some changes that you're going to have to make sure you know. There's some changes. Make sure you know. We're going to talk about that. Agriculture. There's some stuff happening. Agriculture. We're going to talk about inflation. It's your preview, right? Digital Foundation has completed some major work. Can't wait to talk about that. Electricity. Some interesting stuff happening with electricity in Haiti. We're going to talk about that. And then, of course, we got to talk about the superstars in Haiti. The superstars in Haiti. First and foremost, Naomi Osaka. I'm sorry, I'm going to give my superstar priority. Okay, Naomi Osaka. I'm going to talk about her, what she's been doing, and then we'll get to Kanye. All right. Okay. Fantastic. So let's hop into the first news story related to COVID. COVID is still a thing. We're at 19 in Haiti active cases. 1906. Last week it was about 26. It was 2,000, right? And so we've dropped about 100 active cases. We've only increased about 5 deaths, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's 5 deaths, but it could have been, or 6 deaths. Sorry, 6. Could have been a lot worse, as anyone in America knows. We're getting like 227 an hour, much less, as the cumulatively for the entirety of when COVID has been around. Dominican Republic, we share a border. We have to talk about Dominican Republic and COVID. Given we're like this connected, and we're at 23,900 active cases, down from 24,519 from last week in Dominican Republic. Their death count is up. It's at 22,076, or is it 2,087? I'm sorry, versus 2,076. So it's up a moderate amount, about 10 new deaths, which is certainly good to see. Their death rate has decreased considerably. It was going up to 100 to 200 a day. Sorry, not a day. Well, actually, for a while it was a day, a week for sure, on average. So we're happy to see things are improving there. Also relates to COVID, we had the Cuban Brigade out of Haiti. The Cuban Brigade, medical brigade, has been in Haiti since April, right, to help fight COVID, and they were treating some more extreme cases throughout the country. And of course, since our active cases have been steady decreasing, they've decided to return. And they had 22 health specialists. 22. They treated about 150 patients. They treated about 150 patients. Right. The last time they were deployed was in 2010 during the earthquake. During the cholera epidemic. Right after the passage, also after the passage of Hurricane Matthew. So at each major crisis, our Cuban brothers and sisters do lend a hand. That's why I have a tremendous respect for Cuba, because they really have a very important relationship with Haiti, particularly in times of crisis. They send their most important resource. They have incredible medical capacity. So hats off to Cuba. Thank you, Cuba, medical professionals. And, right. The next news story has to do with the Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act. Now, for those who don't know, the Caribbean Trade Partnership Act is the umbrella bill, which one of the most important bills, the HOPE Act, is a part of. And it was very important that this bill, which was set to expire on the 30th of this month, to be refreshed, to be renewed for another 10 years. The House of Representatives passed the Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act. Right now, it's going to the Senate, where it's reasonably assured that it's going to also be passed as well. And then once that's done, then Congress in October will then vote to fund that bill, which also is set to happen. There was a bit of concern that it wasn't going to happen, given that elections elections, right? There was a bit of concern that the legislators weren't going to convene and make this a priority to be voted. But the American Congress isn't Haitian parliamentary, right? They actually do their jobs. They actually do vote on issues and don't make excuses for it, which is no matter what your critique of American government is, at least they do a good portion of their jobs, right? Versus Haitian Parliament that does nothing, right? But anyways, let me hold off for going too deep under that road. But again, why the Caribbean Basin Trade Act was so important was because of the HOPE Act. The HOPE Act is very important and very much why, like the reason why Haiti has a textile industry. Um, the HOPE Act allows for, so if textile companies base themselves in Haiti, large ones, from a Haynes is here, for example, there's a few others who do things, excuse me, who do things in the country. So long as they purchase the material, the cotton, the wool, etc., and then value add, change it, transform it to clothes, and ship it back to Haiti, to America, they will qualify for zero tariffs, and a very streamlined process of importation. And so that the sector alone contributes to around 56,000 jobs. Again, 56,000 jobs that sector contributes to. And so it's absolutely critical. And the sector, by the way, has been hurting tremendously because of COVID and now currently the increasing currency, which we'll be talking about in just a moment. So it's really, really critical. And no matter what your perspective may be, I know a lot of folks have a perspective. Oh, these are sweatshop jobs. These are, the worst type of jobs, etc. Right? Just know I don't. First off, I always understand there hasn't been any country that has moved out of lower development status to higher development status without a degree of industrialization where folks do work in factory settings, right? And second, the amount of wage, which you in America may be critical of. Oh, these guys are only getting paid, such and such dollars, right? Believe it or not, that amount is 2 to 3 times more money than they would receive doing zero, right? And even if there were hustle and bustlers, working on the streets. I say working on the streets, people say, oh, you're prostitutes. No. Madame Seas, like fruit vendors and selling, you drive around. If you've ever been to Haiti, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you drive around and you see, people selling different wares, different handbags, clothing, food, just everything off the street. The little bit of money, the vast majority make a little bit of money, and they're out in the heat. They're out, exhaling diesel exhaust, right? Because they're usually right off the side of the street in traffic, right? And for all these reasons, right, factory setting is exponentially much safer and much more humane, right, than in my opinion, than being in a situation where you don't know, what you're going to be receiving. It's a fraction of what you receive in a factory, and you're in the conditions. If the rain comes, heat comes, if the pay is low, you're out there in elements, and you have to fend for yourself, right? And don't forget, there's no benefits. Factory jobs do come with mandatory benefits imposed by the state. For example, if you're working, have an actual job in Haiti, you have to contribute to the employee's retirement fund. You have to also contribute to medical leave and emergency accident insurance, for example. Right? So there's a lot of benefits too, in addition to being paid 2 to 3 times more than the alternative for many Haitians, which is what? No job or being on the street. And the final thing I want to say about that, because I always have to spend time in explaining that whenever we talk about HOPE Act and textile work. Finally, listen, if you feel so strongly about how much Haitians are making in factories, come to Haiti, invest, open businesses that will allow Haitians to get wages that you feel are acceptable. Right? We're a proponent here of not critiquing, but being involved and being a part of the solution. Right? So if you see a problem, engage yourself in impacting the solution. Right? So next news story has to do with the good currency increase, which is very connected to this. So the good right now is at 68 good HTG to $1. 68 HTG to $1. Bear with me. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I heard, I don't know if it's a football match going on outside or something, but there was a lot of jubilant yells. That's in case somebody challenges me and tells me I'm not in Haiti, right? Just listen close enough, you'll hear the background noise. Very unique Haiti sounds. So the currency is at 68 HTG to a dollar, which is problematic. And the reason why it's problematic is because of the unpredictability of it, right? The unpredictability of it, right? Which is very problematic, right? Y'all bear with me. Although I'm leaving my window open, unlike I usually do, because it gets hot in here. Without the window open, it gets hot, you know. And so it's a balance between, okay, am I allowed some noise from IT to stream in, or will I not be able to breathe, right? And I'm gonna start choosing breathing. So you guys are gonna have to deal with some sounds. So if it's not too bad, I will modulate accordingly. Okay. Hey, hold on. All right, let's power through it, guys. Let's power through it. I think that we'll try to ignore the noise, right? All right. So the currency situation, it's very, very problematic, right? Because of the unpredictability of it. The unpredictability of this time last week, we were pushing 120 HTG, 120 HTG to a dollar, right? Which is extremely certainly I was complaining. Certainly, I think my empathy for my own employees had me ensuring that their wages were being increased during this time, because the reality of a currency going in that particular direction, right? But overnight, in effect, the currency is basically halved. The currency of the dollar is halved. Now, we spent time last Sunday talking about the currency and making it very clear that it has nothing to do with anything that's being done in Haiti. Right, we spent a lot of time talking about that. I want to reiterate that. In fact, the conditions on the ground in Haiti are such that things are, nothing is improved, which are usually tied to the currency appreciating. Nothing is improved. Tourism is down. We produce less national product, right, than we have in the past 2-3 years. Insecurity, and the perception of insecurity is even higher, right, than it has been for the entirety of Jovenel's presidency, anyways, right? We have a diaspora who is in a very stressed state, even though incredibly the diaspora has been pretty stable in sending remittances. We know the reality, and something's going to have to give very, very soon as it relates to the money being sent over, because so many Haitians in America and Canada have been so negatively affected by COVID, and so many restaurants, a lot of hotels, and a lot of places where Haitians tend to work have been affected, and with layoffs, et cetera. So that's going to give very soon, right? So when you look at every single factor that could potentially increase naturally and organically increase the currency, the value of a country's currency, Haiti has gone in the opposite direction for that currency to improve, right? And now a lot of folks say, well, the BRH, they injected $150 million. They injected $150 million, of dollars to the currency. Now that can't have an influence, right? I'm not saying it won't. I'm not saying it didn't. It did have an influence. But understand, it's very important. You have to understand, guys, that it's, they've done it twice before. When the currency was devaluating, the BRH, the Central Bank of Haiti, did 2 major injections of dollars, and it did nothing. Okay, maybe it slightly slowed down the rate of depreciation, right? But it didn't change the direction. And it's not that third time's the charm that you see a correction from 120 to 68 because of that, right? So I want to take some time and re-explain that really quick. It's really important for folks to understand that particular concept, right? It's really important, right? Because there's just a lot of folks that I knew of who were personally who were asking me questions and then really reiterating some things that just weren't true from an economics perspective. Again, the guys, for those who are new here, have a degree in undergrad and a graduate degree in economics, right? Okay, got it? Cool. So that said, the fact that we're at 68 HTG right now, right? It's not that it itself is a problem inherently, because the market will correct itself. Particular products who were priced at 120, those prices will go down to reflect, right? At the end of the day, the exchange rate really doesn't matter so much. If it's slow and it's predictable, then all players and actors involved in this, from the retail store to the wholesale distributor to the importer who's bringing the stuff in, they all fix the price for the expectations of what the currency exchange rate is going to be, and it's the same. Maybe 5 to 1, 68 to 1 as of today, or 120 to 1. At the end of the day, the real value of that particular product is going to be reflective of that the price purchased in the country, the import tax, and whatever whatever markup they can get away with, given the competitiveness of the market as a whole, that local market as a whole, right? And so meaning the number just doesn't really mean much, because the real amount you're spending is going to be the same, right? But the problem here is that here's the situation with Haiti's currency right now. You can't even predict the unpredictability. I'm gonna say that again. You cannot even predict the unpredictability of the currency. Why do I say this? The past 3 years, the currency has been going in a steady negative direction. It had little bleeps when it went down, but even when it went down, 10, maybe 10, 10, I don't want to say basis points, but 10 units of currency, right? With 10 units of currency, right? 10 units of currency, right, is what it went down to, right? And then it would go back up. In 3 weeks, it's lost 40% of its value. Right? The dollar, or the good, has gained 40% of its value. How do you predict against that? How do you protect yourself against that, right? And it's particularly problematic for someone like myself, right, where all my businesses are generated, my staffing, my outsourcing, a lot of different things I'll be opening up very soon as well. I make my revenue in dollars. And so when the good increases by that much, and since I function in Haiti, I have to transfer my money over to good. That means I have to, for the same dollar, have to spend more dollars to purchase the same amount of good, right? And the prices haven't changed yet, right? Because this is happening so quickly. The prices in the market for everything is still priced at 120, right? And so literally something that would cost me $100 1 week, 4 weeks ago, is literally costing me $140 to $150, because the prices have not changed. The good prices have not changed to reflect yet, because there's always a delay. There's always a bit of a delay, right, involved when it comes to changes. So because the good has went down so quickly, it's devastating. And so don't save your violin. Don't worry about me. I'll figure something out. Worry about we just talked about the textile workers. 56,000 Haitians are employed in the textile sector. And guess what? Guess how these companies make their money? They make their money in dollars. They make their money in pesos. They make their money in other currencies that is not the good, right? And so when it comes time to pay their staff, for example, at some good, they have to buy that currency. And so just like that, overnight in 3 months, they've themselves have seen their highest cost or expense increase by 40%. That is tremendously a problem. Again, save the violins. Don't worry about business from just because of the currency devaluating. The problem is the unpredictability of that. Right, the unpredictability of that is the problem. Now, that said, it's a learning experience for me, right? I can tell you, a lot of folks are gonna ask. So SeeJeanty, so how exactly would you advise someone to protect themselves from currency shocks like this? Simply put, I knew, because I keep myself just in the know in terms of what's happening financially around the world, that the dollar, which was experiencing an incredible high valuation, was set to correct itself, was set to change course. And there was a lot of talk while it was happening that the dollar was depreciating, and you can hear when banks start putting money in gold, when banks start putting money in Bitcoin, when they start putting their money in commodities, that's when you have to make sure, right? That's when you have to make sure, right, that you start probably transferring your money that might be stored in dollars into good, right? And most folks, if you have a business in Haiti, if you have a bank account in Haiti, you're going to open up two types of bank accounts. You're going to open up a dollar-denominated bank account, which you're allowed to do in Haiti, and a good-denominated bank account. And thus you can just transfer, your savings values into the other currency, and thus protect yourself from having to buy that good at a lower exchange rate, right? And so that's what I advise you to do, just so you know, right? If you're in a country if you're in Haiti and doing business, it's really important to be cognizant of the dollar. How is the dollar performing, right? I think I didn't finish my point before when I was explaining the factors in Haiti. This change of the good is purely is the dollar decreasing its value across the world, period. So you always want to make sure you're aware of what is the dollar doing, and then what are the experts saying the dollar is going to do. And just a quick FYI before I wrap up this news story, they're saying that the dollar is going to continue to be in a decreasing mode like this, at least through next year, like mid next year. The dollar is expected to be at a very low state. That said, there's some things that are going to be happening in Haiti very soon that is probably going to give folks a breather. Elections are around the corner. And when elections come, it gets pretty chaotic here. I'm not even gonna lie, right? Folks already even tell me, hey, SeeJeanty, I'm looking to visit in January, February. I'm gonna tell you, stay home. You don't want to be in the country around election time, right? It's a tête chargée. A lot of pent up anger and frustrations hit the streets in terms of manifestations, protestings, and stuff like that. And even though you'll be safe, you just won't be able to do anything. You just be stuck in your hotel because of the amount of stuff happening, right, in the streets, right? So you just be stuck at your hotel, and that's not fun. No one wants to fly to another country and just be stuck here, right? And so, actually, let me grab what Philly Deeds said. Very interesting. The Fed has announced that they will not control as tightly protections against USD inflation, etc. So one of the reasons why, I don't want to get to that, but one of the reasons why, the big reason why the dollar is devaluating is that there's been a focus on the Fed on inflation. And when they focus on inflation, on the flip side, the currency tends to seesaw in another direction. Now, if you're telling me that the Fed has announced that they've changed course and they're focused more on the devaluation of the dollar, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to take a look and see how aggressive they're going to go against the devaluating of the dollar. I spent a lot of time on this news story, even though a lot of folks are probably like, get the Kanye West. I don't know what you're talking about with this dollar stuff, man. Come on, get the Kanye. I spent a lot of time on it because it is really, really important for Haiti. And what's happening right now is really bad. Like I don't think you folks understand, like literally within less than a month, the entirety of the cost basis, the big defense line item for a lot of businesses have increased by 40%. 40, it's almost half, it's almost 50%. It's just a few units away. We're trading at 68, and just 8 units away from being half, right? And that is a disaster of epic proportions, my friends. And it's just, I guess it's hard for me to explain that if you don't have a business here, if you don't have a business and where your revenue particularly, because at the end of the day, no matter what, since Haiti is an import-based country, right? Even if you have a fully domestic-facing business, because 60 to 70% of what you use to sell and what you use to operate and what you use to function comes in from America, right? The movement of currencies is very important, right? So anyways, I'll leave that news story right there, okay? Next news story has to do with the bank debit card interpolability. That's a very big word for a very simple concept, right? Simply put, banks are going to be communicating with each other. What? Believe it or not, banks were not communicating with each other, particularly in one important aspect: ATM machines in Haiti. For up until October, up until when this change is going to be initiated, which is October 1st, banks, say if you had a debit card for one bank, you always had to go to that bank's ATM machine. You could not go to another ATM machine, right? And particularly for credit unions, if you had a credit union debit card, or if you had a credit cooperative debit card, right, you had to go to their debit machines, wherever that debit machine was. Now the Central Bank of Haiti has changed regulation, has encouraged connectivity, and provided a framework for that connectivity to happen. And starting October 1st, a Haitian who has a debit card of one bank can very easily use a debit card in another's ATM machine. I know, guys. I know. I'm announcing something that has existed in America for 30 years or something, right? So I know. And in case you guys wonder why there isn't PayPal in the country yet, this is why, right? We are multiples behind key regulation and key framework to allow something like a PayPal to work in our country, right? This is a very important step. It's a very important step to moving our financial sector forward. It makes me, it's a very small bit of news, but it's actually, I'll be honest with you, it's the most optimistic news of banking I've heard in a long time. The reason why is that this framework that didn't exist up until now is a big reason why PayPal is not here. There isn't an because it's one thing to directly connect and work with PayPal. PayPal needs to function in a domestic economy where banks are themselves talking to each other, preventing fraud, and working transactions and ensuring there's checks happening between transactions independently of PayPal. And so having this now, it's a very important step to having PayPal-like companies actually function in the country, right? So Moncash, I just saw something really quick in the chat. Moncash isn't a solution as much as it could be, for the simple fact that it doesn't have a payment portal API. I think they only recently have an API, but it's not for transactions, right? And secondly, you can't, most importantly, you can't load Moncash, for example. You can't use Moncash if you're in America, right? Moncash would be great to use if you are, because if you're in America, you can then plug into, you can put the hey, Moncash accepted, and use an American credit card to buy your product. So there isn't, Moncash only exists in the domestic economy, period. And that's a problem, tremendous problem, right? For it being a PayPal substitute. And that's not because Digicel and Moncash doesn't see the opportunity. The regulation in Haiti doesn't allow Moncash to do that. It's the regulatory bodies in Haiti. Okay. All right. Thanks for that comment. Import regulations. Let me take a little sip of my coffee. Import regulations are pretty steep already, but there are important changes happened. Licenses. It's much more onerous now for certain products. For human and animal food, salt intended for human and animal food, soft wheat flour, edible oil, cement, steel intended for construction, you now have to get a license to import these products every single time they come in. Now they call it a license, but really what it really is, you have to get a form filled out and approved from the Minister of Commerce and Industry. Okay. And then have it even before it comes to the dock. It has to be dated even before it arrives to Haiti. And then of course present that license, at time of pickup. Now, if you were not to get this license, and the product gets to the port, you will be assessed a 10% penalty because you got it after the fact. And if you don't present one at all, you will run the risk of your product being seized. You will run the risk of your product being seized. Okay. So just a very interesting, relevant news. I can't speak to why this has been put in place. Unfortunately, it's a very the point of an economy that is generally understands how a government that understands how economies work will make it easier for transactions to happen, export and import, not add regulations, not add processes in place, right, to slow the process down and add extra cost, right? Because even if it's a low cost license, you still have to have someone now trained to handle this process of going to the Minister of Commerce, grabbing the form, and getting it out of douane customs with the form, in addition to everything else you have to do, right? So quick, just FYI on that for anyone here on the live that's importing edible oil and cement or steel intended for construction. Not too many people, I don't think, salt, but just FYI, now you know. Agriculture, famine. The Famine Early Warning Systems Network released their June 2020 issue of the Perspectives on Food Security. It's a very important newsletter, I guess you can call it, as it relates to the food security levels of Haiti. It's probably one of the most important newsletters that are published. And what they've said effectively is we've had below and irregular rain levels since March in the south, the north, the northeast, the west, the central, Artibonite, right? And we've had poor spring harvests, right? So and you top that with the COVID slowing down the capacity of the market to function, right? Given the country was locked down for 3 months, right? So we do expect the food security levels to remain very high in Haiti, right? And we have seen a drop in production in Haiti for June and July as well. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my laptop before the battery runs out. Bear with me here. Boom, we're plugged in. Right. So again, we've talked about food insecurity here in Haiti. On Haiti Biz News quite a bit. Haiti has increased its vulnerability for many Haitians, especially during Paylock. Paylock, we saw the largest increase of food vulnerable peoples while it was happening. And then right away, COVID only has aggravated food insecurity in the country. And unfortunately, the rains and weather, climate change has not helped the situation for Haiti, right? So that's something we're going to keep an eye on here for Haiti Biz News, and particularly look for, as we always do, look for stories that provide us with a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. But as it stands right now, there is a tremendous need for support of many Haitians on the lower end of capacity, right? Next news story has to do with inflation. The Haitian Institute of Statistics and Informatics, under the Minister of Finance, a very important institution because many of the real statistical economic indicators that's compiled in a manner consistent with how they're compiled across the world, i.e., if we read a statistic from the Haitian Institute of Statistics and Informatics, it is absolutely as equivalent and valid as any statistic you would read from the United States or Europe, et cetera. They're reporting for July 2020, the year-over-year inflation for the month of July is up 25.7%. I'm going to say that again. The inflation year-over-year is up 25.7%, and that is up when you compare it, and that's still the highest we've seen, because remember, we reported last month that 24.7 for the month of June was the highest we've seen since the fall of Duvalier, right? Since the fall of the dictatorship in 1987, when the economy was in utter chaos, right? We're at a place where last month so the month before that, we're at 23.4% year over year for May. And the month after that, it's 24.7%. And the month after that, we're at, or this month here, not this month, July in any case, we're at 25.7% inflation, which is absolutely incredible, right? The highest categories for inflation were food. Rice saw as high as 33.6%, 28.3% for meat, 39% for lemons. Banana saw 48.3% of inflation. Yams, 28.3%. Clothing also saw incredible rates of inflation at 29.5%. Health, 48.5% for medicine. Medicine, guys, 48.5%. Right, meals at restaurants, 27.5%. Right, the CPI index for specific products, month over month, did see certain products like food, just looking from prior month to current month, we saw prior month to July. Right, we're not in current month yet. The Institute of Statistics is behind. We saw ranges of inflation from 2.9% at the high end. Well, actually, as high as 3.5%, all the way down to 0.8% across the board, across a lot of different sectors and domains. Right. So that's in the highest region for inflation we saw, of course, was the metropolitan areas. Right, but they all. Maybe for the North, the South Department, the West, all saw very tight rates of inflation between 25.6 and 26.1%. Right. So again, we're going to see. I'm very interested to see what our inflation rates look for this month. This month of September, where we saw the currency devaluating by over 40%. There is a correlative relationship between inflation and the exchange rate, though those things are not necessarily directly connected, because the way you compile CPI and inflation, you actually take out the noise of your currency exchange rate. You actually take out that noise, you factor that noise out. But there is still a secondary effect of currency on inflation because of the expectations of the market setting particular prices, right? And so we will certainly keep an eye on that. But certainly it's not good news. It's not when we're talking about 25.7% inflation. Bear in mind, in America, for example, our inflation rates are between 2 to 4%. Just to keep that in cover. A lot of folks may not even know what their inflation rate is in their country. But for those on Instagram, the stream is about to end. So go to YouTube SeeJeanty, Facebook SeeJeanty. YouTube SeeJeanty, Facebook SeeJeanty to keep up the stream. I'm not going to reboot the stream on Instagram. Okay. All right. See you over there. So that's where we're at in terms of inflation rate. Digicel Foundation has completed major works. Major works have been completed by the Digicel Foundation. The foundation has claimed that they've helped 60,000 students. I'm going to say it again. The foundation has claimed in their existence have assisted with 60,000 students, right? The most recent works and projects they've done, right? They've completed 3 schools. The first school, L'École Mix Sinclair in Sodeo, right? The other school is Notre Dame de Premier School in Ocade, excuse me, in the West Department. And then La Roche Community School in La Choba, in the Center Department of Haiti, right? And 2 of those schools were completely built from scratch. The other one was a complete, just effectively a complete renovation, in effect, right? The next, and additionally, they in this past period completed 5 building renovations of schools that were affected by Hurricane Matthew in the Gondas and South departments of Haiti, right? So hats off to the Digicel Foundation for continuing with their mission of assisting and aiding, the students of Haiti. And of course, and what they're looking at, they announced that they're currently working on 3 new construction renovation projects, and that they've already started that. The Joy Garden School, the École Presbyterian, the Poiré in St. Mark, and the National School of Camp, the National School of Camp Cook in North Department, right? So Digicel Foundation is doing some great and powerful things. Happy to see and happy to have Digicel not only reinvesting in the community in that way. So hats off to Digicel and Digicel Foundation. Electricity. We're going to talk about that. Jeremie has, for the first time in 8 years, Jeremie has their power station functioning. And the EDH, under instruction of President Jovenel Moise, has installed 5 new heavy diesel engines, which will be able to provide electricity to Jeremie for over 18 hours a day, right? I don't know if there's anybody from Jeremie here. I want to say from Jeremie, like literally in Jeremie, watching from Jeremie right now. But I would love for someone to, hit us in the chat and tell us, is it true? I would love to hear from someone in Jeremie, or does anyone have family in Jeremie? Has anyone been able to talk to somebody in Jeremie over the past day or a few days? I would love to hear if they're really getting 18 hours a day. I'm just curious. I'm not trying to be particularly facetious against the cynical. Sorry, is the better word. I'm not trying to be particularly cynical to what the Haitian government is trying to do. I'm just curious to really know, is that true? Has that been the case? Right. So again, if anyone wants to drop that in the chat, let me know. But 18 hours a day is what this new power station is going to be able to provide Jeremie. And in fact, I remember visiting Jeremie about 2 years ago, and literally I was there for 3 days, and over 3 days they gave power one day. Just sorry. I wish they gave power one day. I was there 3 days, and they gave power 1 hour. That is what happened, right? That is what happened, right? 3 days, power 1 hour of 3 days, right? And this is back when, this is 3 years ago, or 3 years ago, when electricity was normal. And we're getting the same experience of Jeremie today here in Pétionville and Port-au-Prince because of, Jovenel Moïse trying to revamp and rework and has taken over the capacity of electricity generation. And so we're in a very bad state in the city of Port-au-Prince. But this is back when, honestly, 2-3 years ago, I literally thought I had a battery system. They gave so much power here. I literally thought I had inverters. It wasn't until like just one random weekend there wasn't any power, and I was like, "Yo, is there something wrong with my battery? What's going on?" Like, "Yeah, you don't." And then my landlord came and like, "Yeah, you don't have a battery system." Like, what? Yeah, they were just giving power, consistently. I was like, "Oh, damn. Okay, I guess I got to go and buy batteries," right? So that was happening then, but Jeremie still was only getting 1 hour a day over 3 days, right? So the fact that Jeremie has 18 hours a day, that's fantastic. That's great news, and certainly I do hope we have somebody from Jeremie who would like to voice how their experience has been thus far, right? Next news has to be related to the electricity network visit by pre-qualified firms in a couple of different areas of the country. Miagwan, Okai, and the northeast departments. The energy sector, these networks are independent. They're not necessarily connected to a larger national grid. These are independent grids. The new regulatory body founded by Jovenel in 2016, the National Energy Sector Regulatory Authority, which is one of its key responsibilities is to help regulate these networks, is providing an open bid to companies to help to basically become the effective owners of and actually execute the work of the National Energy Sector Regulatory Authority, and of course, receive compensation for doing that work on their behalf. So far, we have 3 bidders: Segura Haiti, as part of a consortium with JCM Power and plus FMO. We have InterEnergy, which is a consortium of Carib Energy, Winco, and Crowley Petroleum. And then we have NRECA, NRECA, and NRCA is the current network manager for these networks. And so there's an open bidding process happening, and the state is trying to get a better deal for how it's currently managing its network and its section. All right. So that is a bit of a change ultimately to try and, well, the goal of this announcement was to ensure that, again, this process is transparent, above board, right? And certainly we'll find out whether or not that's the case. Just like we found out with Petrocaribe, the light always comes out today, right? The poo-poo always starts to give a smell nasty enough to be scented, from a distance. Is that a good analogy? I don't know. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? All right. So now we're here. Superstars in Haiti. I know people have been waiting. That's probably why I have so many folks on today than usual, right? Folks they read the headline. Wait a minute, Kanye West? Wait, what? So as any good YouTuber, I had to drop the juice in the beginning and keep y'all around to the very end. So we're here to talk about the superstars in Haiti. First and foremost, I'm gonna talk about Naomi Osaka first. I have so much respect for Naomi Osaka. I mean, I have so much respect for Naomi Osaka. I mean, how awesome is it that we have an international superstar at this level of the game. I mean, she is the protege of Serena Williams. God willing, if God can keep her healthy, please God. If God can keep her safe, please God, right? We're looking at the next 20 years, 20 plus years of a dominating superstar who at every single turn, at every single instance, at every single opportunity to speak about Haiti, right? She does. She does so. And the fact that she's in Haiti, this is their third time in Haiti. She flew in on the, I think, 22nd of September. This is her third visit, major visit, at least since she's become famous, right? Her first time was in October 2017. The second time was November 2018. And now she's here. And so, as you can see, she's making her trips to Haiti an annual thing, which is fantastic, right? In fact, she turned down the opportunity to play, I believe, in the French Open. I know there's some tennis, connoisseurs, or there's a better word for it, but there's some real tennis people in here, I'm sure, who will confirm which one she's turned down. She said she was having issues with her thigh. She was recovering, so she didn't play in the French Open. So again, please correct me, anyone who's really into tennis. I'm into tennis, but I just kind of forgot which one she turned down. And again, so she was in Jacmel. Her father has a school in Jacmel, and also she has a tennis academy, or at least that school has a tennis program, which she's very involved in. And she went to help, with the formation of these students at the tennis court, tennis center that is a part of her dad's school in Jacmel. Additionally, she was seen visiting Cap Haitien. She was visiting Cap Haitien, going to different sites. She went to the Citadel La Ferrière, which she reposted about, and it's fantastic to have someone of that national caliber, right? Thank you, Madame Jeanty. French Open, thank you. That was correct. And no, it was just great. I just can't stop gushing over Naomi Osaka. I'm sorry. I'm not. I can't tell you how happy I am that Haiti has a break. I mean, I think the last superstar we had, at the nearest level superstar we had representing Haiti like this across the world, was Wyclef. I mean, we love Wyclef. Wyclef, no one doubts Wyclef's love and appreciation, and incredible goodwill that Wyclef has done throughout his entire career in terms of showing Haiti in a positive light and showing what Haiti's about, sharing the world about the history of Haiti. And so, so this is the successor, and Naomi is a much larger brand, an international brand than Wyclef is, just because sports and tennis, right? So, yeah, Osaka's awesome. All right, here we go. Kanye West is in Haiti. Okay, I gotta go. Bye. These guys would kill me. You guys would kill me if I just walked away like that. All right, here's what's going on. So Kanye West is in Haiti. Okay, he touched down 2 days ago, and of course you guys need to follow me on Facebook, SeeJeanty, because I broke that news. When that news came in, I was one of the first places that was streaming the live coverage of Kanye West being at the airport and being greeted. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was like, why is Kanye West being treated like a diplomat? I mean, I thought it was okay at first. I was like, okay, well, he's a superstar and they're giving him a little special treatment. Cool. Then I heard the president of Haiti was coming to greet Kanye West. And I was like, what? Wait. That's not true. That can't be true. Why is the president of Haiti coming to greet an artist? At the end of the day, Kanye's an artist. This is my initial impressions, guys, right? And then it was actually true. You saw images of him being greeted by President Jovenel Moise. It just so happened that Naomi Osaka was actually flying out of Cap Haitien because she was there for 2 days. And they just, I don't know if it was on purpose. I don't know how much influence Naomi Osaka may have had in this background, stuff. But the news is reporting that it was coincidence. She was waiting on her flight to go back to either Port-au-Prince or Jacmel, right? And as the story evolved, it wasn't just a simple greet by President Moise. He's been accompanying President Moise, or President Moise has been accompanying Kanye West for the past 2 to 3 days. For the past 2 to 3 days, Jovenel has been personally holding Kanye's hand, not literally, figuratively, of course, as he's been moving around the country. So on the agenda, they went to a plant breeding facility, I believe in Labadie, but one that's located in the north of Haiti. By the way, he touched down in Cap Haitien. I didn't make that clear. Cap Haitien. Took a boat, immediately went to Labadie to see that plant breeding facility, and then went to Île La Tortue as well. Île La Tortue is that massive island we have on the north of Haiti, Tortuga Island. That's the island, by the way, of Pirates of the Caribbean. That's the very famous island we have here in Haiti. And he took them. President Moise took Kanye West to there. Okay. And now, last images I saw of Kanye he was at Satama Hotel in Cap Haitien. That's last bit of location of where he is, and as far as I understand it, as of today, right now as we're talking, Kanye West is still in Haiti. Right, I haven't heard any news different yet. Right, Kanye West is still in Haiti as we're talking right now. Now, let's talk about reasoning. Let's talk about rationale. I just broke down, when he came in, where he went, right, and what he's doing right now. Now, I haven't talked about why. The bottom line, no one knows why. Bottom line, let's just get right to it. No one knows why Kanye West is in Haiti. And if you read anything as of today, right now, there's still no announcement, right? There's still no announcement I'm getting correction. The plant breeding they went to is in the Northwest Department near Port-au-Prince, which is exactly what I think, LM. This is exactly what I thought. And I do know, we talked about this in Haiti Biz News a while back. There was a plant breeding plant that opened right around there. I was very clear. I was never aware of one in Labadie. Yes, I must have read the news story. But for sure, they went to Labadie, they went to Île La Tortue, and then they also went to see the plant breeding center in near Port-au-Prince, which is the one I was always familiar with. So thank you, LM, for that correction. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. And so, to be clear, no one knows for sure, right? It's all speculation. Whatever you may read, you'll notice it's not coming from the Nouvelliste. It's not coming from Haiti Libre. It's not, they'll just announce what I just told you. Kanye West is in the country. Here's where he went. Here's who's accompanying him, which is President Moise. That's it, right? Because they're journalists and they don't speculate, right? But now, let's hear some speculation, because I'm not a journalist, right? Right? What the streets are saying, take it for face value, I may be proven wrong, right? Here's what the streets are saying. The streets are saying this. Kanye West is in Haiti to make a major land acquisition. Kanye West is in the country to make a major land acquisition. What that land is going to be used for, we don't know. There's some speculating it's going to be a city. It's going to be some speculating. It's going to be some folks are saying it's for income housing. Some folks are speculating that it's for hotels, a chain of hotels and etc. I've heard some perspectives saying that Kanye West has been heavily influenced by Akon, and per conversations with Akon about what's going on in America right now, how to generally build your wealth, what the next steps are for someone at his level. He wants to, and Akon himself has shared on places like Vlad TV that he's talked to Kanye West about building a city in Africa, building a city, anywhere outside of America that could generally benefit, Black people, right, across the world, and that's the reason why, he recently was in Jamaica. Right before coming here, went to Jamaica to see what was there, but certainly, now he's in Haiti and has received an incredible welcome because of that. Now, if you take a step back, right, and you put a few pieces together, what the streets are saying makes sense, right? Because think about this for a second. Why, in common, for good God, is a president taking this much time to court someone? Now, let's take a step back. Whatever you may feel about Kanye West, like I know a lot of folks, Kanye West is a very divisive figure, right? Naomi, universally, we all love Naomi Osaka, right? There's no divisiveness when it comes to Naomi. We love her to death. We fight for Naomi, right? Kanye, on the other hand, right? He said some things that a lot of people around, particularly Black people in America, have found offensive, right? For example, when he said slavery was a choice, right? So listen, whatever you may feel about Kanye, and for example, he supports Donald Trump. He's openly supported Donald Trump, for example, which has gotten him a lot of ire from Black Americans, right? So whatever you may feel about Kanye West, understand here's facts you have to appreciate. He's a legit billionaire. Right? Forbes has ranked him at $1.3 billion with a B dollars. To put this in context, one Black man in Haiti right now has wealth that is equal to the entire budget of the Haitian government. The budget of the Haitian government is around $2 billion, just FYI. $2 billion, that's roughly, give or take, $2 billion. $2 billion is the budget of the Haitian government. And you have one man right now in Haiti whose net worth at 1.3 billion is roughly equal or very close to the entire budget of the Haitian government. So first and foremost, you got to appreciate that, right? And certainly Jovenel, King Moise, President Moise, appreciates that, right? And let's be honest, guys. Whatever you may feel about Kanye West, the man gets stuff done, right? He has built a fashion empire, right, out of nothing, to really the vast majority, a good majority of his wealth is because of his fashion lines, right? He has a lot of different investments. He's recently in what was it, Wyoming? He bought somewhere around 80 acres of land, some massive amount of land, right, which he's converting to different. It talks about he's trying to make that into sort of an ecosystem, to eventually for folks to participate in, right? And everything else he's touched, he's been very successful. His music still does okay, right? His music still does okay, and he's been extremely successful. And Kanye, given his international brand, is someone that right now, Haiti's trending. Guys, Haiti is trending. And it's not because of a natural disaster. It's not because of a political instability. It's not because of rioting. It's not because of this and that. Right now, Haiti is trending across the world because of one man, because of Kanye West. Right? And you're seeing images of Kanye. He's in Rabodai, groups. You're frappé tambour, you'll get si by since I will even by Zuzella, something very similar in Haiti, right? And he's there rapping, he's there in the middle of a group rapping. And I saw another video where he was eating sugarcane on the side of the street. I'm gonna say that again. Kanye West was literally, eating, that bois sugarcane that any Haitian knows what I'm talking about. One of the nice after our mangoes. Right? eating our sugar cane on the side of the street, from a Haitian seller, right? Gaga, excuse me, Miss Happy Gaga, right? And so, in terms of visibility, in terms of, Haiti needing, as someone who has a whole channel dedicated to providing a different perspective of Haiti, one visit by Kanye West is making people look at Haiti like, whoa, wait a minute. Now, imagine for a second. Let's just imagine for a second, guys. If Kanye announces a Kanye City on the same level of Akon City, right? Imagine that, right? I think that would be pretty damn cool. I think that would be extraordinary for the perception of Haiti. And now, if that can be backed up with some additional improvements for everyone else, because listen, I've been doing business in Haiti for 3+ years. I've never had the president meet me at the airport and show me around. And so I know a lot of Haitian diaspora doing major investments in Haiti, providing thousands of jobs, and they haven't even gotten as much as an attaboy from any government body, much less. And actually, it's the opposite. The government has acted as a roadblock to development of so many people I know trying to come and do business in Haiti, to be quite frank with you. And so, if we can hopefully, this is all hope. This is all hope. We're all speculating right now. Nothing's been announced, guys. Nothing's been announced. It's all speculation, right? So, if we're going to speculate, let's go all the way with speculating. No, we're not going to speculate at 50% capacity here. Not over here at Haiti Biz News. We're going to speculate at 100% capacity, right? And so, and do that is not just about Kanye West announcing at Kanye City over on Untitled Chapter, right? It is about announcing, hopefully, an entire system-wide improvement for the capacity for people, any people, Haitian diaspora, Black people, white people, anybody, to be able to invest in Haiti and grow the economy, right? And hopefully that will be accompanied. And that's one thing that I'm keeping a very close eye on the constitutional talks. By the way, we're keeping a very close eye on the constitutional talks because there has been a lot of rumors. Again, we're in the rumor section of the show right now. That they're going to be very aggressive in allowing the Haitian diaspora to participate in the economy and in voting and in political life, right? So if Kanye West were to announce, Kanye City, and then simultaneously, the new constitution allows a much more easier access for the Haitian diaspora to participate in the country, right? You put those two together, that is something that really would give the largest, the largest amount of hope I would expect to see. Last time we probably had this much hope, if these two things were to happen at the same time, will be equal to after the earthquake. Because remember, after the earthquake, that tremendous disaster, but there was so much reaction from the international community and so much money put together in a pot to help, push the country forward, that there was a big feeling of potentiality for Haiti to finally move forward. Now, of course, we're 10 years later and we see what happened. Nothing happened. The money was just splurged, really, because of NGOs and who mainly repaid themselves that money. Is what it is, right? But this is different, right? This would be different. You have an international Black billionaire creating something here in the country, and hopefully a legal framework that would hopefully be much more accommodating to everyone else trying to do business in Haiti as well, right? So that's the news, right? To sum it up, I know folks were waiting for me to talk about it, and that's so the short of it is we don't know why Kanye is in Haiti. There's no official reason, but the streets are saying, and you got to respect the streets in Haiti, because Haiti is very, very much like this. Haiti is very much a in the streets sort of country, right? And you hear things in the streets long before you hear them on official news sources in a lot of cases. right? But the streets are saying he's in there to look for opportunity, to invest in the country, and it would make sense. Why else? Why else? Wait. Yours truly, PL. He's back in the States. I think he's talking to Kanye. So Kanye must have left already, perhaps. All right, which is interesting. But again, he spent a good solid 2-ish days here in the country, which is great. And saw some really very interesting stuff. But it would make sense. It would make sense that given that he's the president, would escort someone. That would only happen if there was a major investment looking to happen. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see. I look out. Believe me. Make sure you follow me on SeeJeanty Facebook page. And the moment that news drops of what Kanye may be deciding or decided, we're going to drop it right there. We're going to drop it on the Facebook page, right? And of course, we'll talk about it the following Sunday once that happens. Okay. And that, my friends, is the last headline news story, right? So I just wanted to run through it. So I know some folks. That's how I'm going to be doing the program going forward. I'm going to try to run through the news stories, and this way, anyone who needs to run or needs to catch football games. I know the football season's here, playoffs are here, and etc. They can go watch their football games. They're filled in. You guys have been filled in with what's going on from a Haiti Biz news perspective. You guys are filled in. Now, as promised, I am going to read every single chat that was dropped today, because you took time to be here to listen to me and type and respond, and I'm going to read every single one. So before I go into it, I'm gonna grab some water because I've been talking for a solid hour, right? And then I'm gonna read every one of your chats. Okay, guys? So just bear with me. I'm gonna ask you guys, because I didn't unfortunately get my water here next to me, right? So I'm gonna ask you guys to give me 1 minute so I can go grab my water, and then I'm gonna read your chats, because I do, this is a co-hosted show, and I appreciate everyone who comments, and we're gonna have a conversation. Honestly, a lot of people say this next section is why they really watch Haiti Biz News, because this is sort of conversation that they appreciate, and the education that comes about from what you guys are asking and my responses to them. So stick around, give me 1 minute. I'll be right back, and then and again, by the way, I just want to mention, it wasn't lost on me today. Today, we had over 180 plus people in the live today, which is incredible, guys. Incredible. 180. I remember just my real OGs remember when Haiti Biz News was just about 10, 20 people. Look at us now. Look at us now, guys. We're at 180 on the live. Look at us now. And I appreciate everyone who shared. Everyone who shared this, I appreciate you guys. Everyone who shared and brought in folks from everywhere. I want to thank you guys, because you guys, this is our victory. 180 people. It was our peak, right? So, all right, guys, give me 1 minute. I'll be right back, and I'm going to be reading the chats. Okay, we're going to have a conversation directly. Okay, all right, I'll be right back, guys. Haiti Biz News show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News show. It's Sundays weekly. This is SeeJeanty, Haiti Biz News show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic conditions. You can always catch us live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Right? Haiti Biz News show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened. We're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Business Show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here. All right, here we are. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I think it was literally 1 minute. Were you timing me? Was it literally 59 seconds? Was it? Here's my water. All right, so let's get into the chats. Let's talk. Let's have a chit chat. Let's have a conversation, guys. Let's have a conversation. I'm scrolling all the way up to where, at least as far up as this chat allows me to. Oh my goodness, I can only go back so far. And it's allowing me to go back only to 12:49. Okay, so there are folks above. I do apologize. I can't see any further than that. So the very first comment I can see is really LM saying, great news for Jeremie. Thanks for confirming. All right. So let's keep scrolling down and see what folks say from there. Actually, here's what I can do. Actually, let me try. Will I be able to see the comments if let me try to go into the live from my phone. I really do want to grab the comments that I missed. I know folks were saying even before then. So let me take a look and see if I can do that. Let's see. I really do want to read some of the comments here. Nope, I can't see those. And let me try something else. Let's see if I can access it from Facebook, if I can, or YouTube app. Let's see if I grab something a little different here. Okay, there you go. Perfect. I can see a lot more stuff from my phone. All right. Okay, let's scroll all the way up here. Let's see what I can grab. Actually, no, this is 110, 110, 111. No, I can see more through what I can see here than this only goes back 20 minutes. Okay. Anyways, you guys, you can see I tried. I tried to get the folks even before then. So I do apologize for those who commented even before then. All right. So let's get to it. And if you commented before 12:47, maybe redrop if you had a particular question or something you wanted me to talk about, just re-ask it now, right? And I'll get to it, right? So again, if you said something before 12:49 p.m. Eastern, retype it so I can see and I can get to it. Okay. All right, let's get to it. Let's see. Her father's Haitian. Yep, Naomi Osaka. That's great. All right. Osaka is a national treasure. Absolutely. So why is her last name Osaka? Great question. So her mom is Japanese. She grew up in Japan. Japan is an incredibly, they're not, I got to be careful how I word. So the Japanese are not particularly racially sensitive. That's how I can phrase that. They're not particularly racially sensitive. And they give people, it's very hard, just the fact that the way she looks, a lot of people in Japan do not really accept her as actually being of Japanese heritage, even though, again, her mom is Japanese. And so her father made the choice, rather than her going through school and et cetera with a Haitian last name. I forget what the father's last name is, but it's a very Haitian last name, to instead have her take her mother's last name, just so she could have she can be less racially targeted by other students, by teachers, by society as a whole in Japan. Okay, so that's the reason why they chose Osaka. And she's talked about it too, by the way. You can always Google it and you hear it in her own words why. Okay. So let's see. So she strained some muscles. Yep, and won't be able to do French Open. Absolutely. All right. Let's keep scrolling down some more. NBTV says Wyclef's no longer Haitian. I wonder why you're saying that. I think in fact, he recently did a concert and he was still repping Haiti pretty hard. I'm not sure why you would say that. Music Lover 2 says, if I find a clip, explain the reason why. Okay, there you go. So I already explained it. Let's see. Yep, Stephanie agrees with me about now Osaka's blackness being refreshing and pro-Haitiness being refreshing, right, to see, especially at that level, right? Wyclef says, Wyclef, regardless of his issues, has always repped Haiti, so don't do that, y'all. Kanye's, Rich T is not a fan of Kanye. Kanye is a culture vulture who does things for attention and money. All right. That's Rich T's perspective. Lawrence Gonzalez says the Haiti presidents have done so in the past. LM says the plant breeding they want to is in the, I responded to that actually. Kanye West might go visiting La Vie Aucun, right? Stephanie follows up, says the Kanye West seems like nothing but attention grab. He was also in Jamaica, right? Mike Colin says this is actually a business deal. Escorting them was an Iranian American investor, Shervin Persevere. They're selling off parts of the island. Let me put that up. Actually. Let me put that up right here. Mike Collin, some juicy bits of information for us. Mike Collin says this is actually a business deal escorting, because I did remember seeing, I saw this, I thought it was Latino. He looked like a Latino guy, to be honest with you, with the beard and everything, right? Mike Collin says escorting them was an Iranian American investor, Shervin Peshava. I hope I'm saying his name right. And they were selling off parts of the island. Okay, Mike. Thanks for that, man. Thanks for that little piece of information. Right? I mean, that certainly adds to the word on the street when you have an American investor, Iranian investor, looking accompanying you. Right? Certainly adds. So what else? ADOS people disagree with Kanye. Right? Okay. Jay Jordan, without educating our young people, Haiti can't progress. I agree. I think we certainly need a focused education on the next generation of Haitians. Certainly agree with that. All right. Simon qui gagne l'argent, yo pas vle ouais dans pays. Simon qui gagne l'argent, yo pas vle ouais dans pays. And I don't think that's true. Can't say I agree with that. Let's see what else folks are saying. Albert Davis says, so what? Let's see what else folks are saying. Leah Kylene says, also because of Trump's newest Supreme Court pick, Amy, she has 2 adopted kids from Haiti. I just read that very late last night after I did my show notes. But it doesn't necessarily have any relevancy to Haiti Biz news either way. Either way, I probably wouldn't have included it. But that's just an interesting fact that the newest Supreme Court has adopted kids from Haiti, which is interesting. Thanks for sharing that, by the way. Let's see. What else we got going on? What else? Kim Fel Deja pour Dennis Rodman. I see the parallels. I like that one, Cap Cuisine. I like that. Miss Kanye, no, we talked about that. Lionel Pierre, good afternoon. Hey, Lionel, good to see you. Right? We should have, KD says we should have respect. We should have the same respect for our people, which what I saw right outside the national airport is what's keeping those from us wanting from return. Okay, I don't disagree with us valuing the Haitian diaspora. The Haitian diaspora have been asking to be able to have ease and investment on the same level. I mean, if I think you would get 10 times the level of investment that you're going to get from Kanye from the Haitian diaspora if the Haitian government took the Haitian diaspora serious. If the Haitian diaspora were given the lane, the ease, the capacity, the security, right, to peace of mind, the support to invest in Haiti, they would, and they would at a rate much higher than whatever you're going to get from Kanye. I can tell you that right now, right? And so it's certainly a missed opportunity, continues to be a missed opportunity until we get a government that really understands there is no growth for Haiti unless you allow the diaspora to fully plug in, fully be able to engage in the ecosystem, right? So I agree with you there, right? Stephanie says, I support your optimism, SeeJeanty, the Haitian diaspora and others needs to invest in Haiti. It would be historical, certainly agree. My goodness, this obsession Black people have with celebrities must come to a stop. We live in a world, of very strong obsession of celebrities, right? So it's certainly not necessarily unique to Black people, but I certainly agree. Certain Black people shouldn't necessarily have as big of a following as they do, right? Given their connection to just negative imagery and the lack of actual activity for Black peoples, right? He is back in the state. This guy, I read that. Mike Collins doesn't have a good opinion of Kanye West from this, from that recent statement I just read there. Noel Finance Services, Noel says, I employ over 200 people in the northwest part of the island. If Kanye West could develop something like this in a laboratory, I would definitely buy an apartment because of the proximity to my home. So thanks for that, Noel. And do send a message to me. I would love to learn a little more about what you're doing that's employing 200 people in Haiti. So my email is in the description, SeeJeanty@hypro.solutions, right? Daphne Reynolds says, a true talk, Wyclef Jean and Haitian Fresh and more. They don't want them, but others come, and yes, everything is okay, right? And Haiti certainly does have an issue of not supporting its own people, which is very unfortunate. I agree. Certified Tees says, I hope he runs for president in the USA, so he stays out of Haiti. I think he's already running, actually. I don't really see him campaigning much, but apparently he hasn't announced that he isn't running anymore, right? What else? If Kanye, is it true Kanye also had an Uber executive, Elon Musk, and Tesla executives there with him as well? I don't know. I'm hearing this of this Iranian investor that was with him. But I don't know about anyone else that was with him, unfortunately, right? Thanks, Jay Saint, for sharing the live. Appreciate it. WAP Mini 99, what's up, WAP? I salute you, WAP. Certainly appreciate you. It's crazy. All these people salute new people. I salute you for being an OG of the channel. Makandel, stand up. What's up, man? Hey, Makandel, music lover too. Thanks to Philly Don for bringing a lot of traffic to YouTube. You know what? Oh, okay, it might be okay. Well, hats off. It might be Philly Dom then that I can hold the 180 count for because of Philly D. So appreciate that. I appreciate being on Philly D's channel last night. By the way, if you haven't seen the conversation that Philly Dom and I had, then you certainly should go to Philly Dom's channel. We had a really good conversation, and I was a little bit more frank in my conversations than I usually am, right? Than on this channel. So do check out that conversation. It was really fun. Let's see. When's the book coming out? I read, and the book's coming out. In fact, we're making incredible progress. In fact, right now, I can tell you, the first draft is written from cover to cover. The first draft is written, and now I'm going through it again and adding more meat, shifting things around and really getting the flow a little better, right? And so we're making incredible progress. After this rewrite, in a way, then we're going to proofread it, get it proofread, get the book cover, and then it's going to be out. So I can tell you we're on track for a before end of the year release. We are on track, guys. So I'm very excited. I can't wait. I've been working on this book for over a year, and I'm trust me, I'm looking forward to being finished, so I can put energy towards other projects, which this book is going to be a very important part of the future projects, right? So thanks for asking that. Nikki Dupont St. Jean says, awesome job. Me and my hubby, presumptions were as yours. If you could open doors, it could be wide open also for the diaspora and the first generation Haitian Americans. We want to come home. Absolutely. I certainly hope that happens. All we can do is hope, of speculation. So we'll see. There's already an American who's holding a Latutu hostage for some contract signed. Once they do, while any investment on the island will have to be bought out. This contract, unfortunately, that I am aware of, unfortunately. And so we'll see. I think Jovenel has proven that he doesn't really care about contracts. If anyone's been following the electricity takeover by Jovenel Moise, Jovenel has proven that he can care. He doesn't care two craps about what contract you may have when it comes to what the country needs, right? And his perspective, right? So we'll see what happens from that perspective, right? Let's see here. Is it better to, actually Jay George said something here that's interesting. He lost $33,000 buying land in Haiti. So, Joy George is a great example of why I tell people, first off, to have land acquisition to be one of the last things you do when you're in Haiti, right? And when you do it, you take it very slowly. You get an attorney involved, and you take extreme precautions. Like, for example, you go to the land, you literally knock on doors. You ask who they believe is the owner of the land. They'll tell you, right? So many folks really think buying land in Haiti is like it is in America, and you end up with people like Jay George who become very very angry for losing. My eyes bothering the heck out of me, for losing that much money, which we certainly can empathize with Jay George, right? And you just the reality is you have to take the most risky investment you'll do in Haiti is buy land, and so you have to take it with that level of appreciation of the risk, and you have to do it very slowly, cautious. Because when you buy land in Haiti, you don't buy land; you're buying the word of the person. That's it. You're buying the word of the person, right? And because even with an attorney, an attorney does the due diligence, and the person may have an outside child, and if the outside child can prove he's actually a blood relation, and that person who sold the land to died before selling that land to you, right? Or maybe it's like a legitimate child, right? Then you have a very nasty situation where that outside child can then lay claim to your land, because the way the land real estate works in Haiti, you technically have to buy it from every one of this person's children, right? They have to sign off on it. And as an example of one way things can go wrong, right? So Jay George, Haiti, buying Haitian land isn't a scam. People buy land all the time. You just have to not be. There's an expression in South Florida. We call that being a lick. Don't be a lick, right? Don't be a sucker, right? And the way you don't get scammed is literally understanding, land in Haiti is the Wild Wild West, and you have to be extremely careful, extremely slow, and extremely smart in how you purchase that land. And by the way, we're going to have a chapter in the book about buying land in Haiti, FYI. So look out for that. Highly Favored says, is it better to ship a car in Haiti or buy a car in Haiti instead? If you watch my video, buying a car in Haiti, I actually have a video on SeeJeanty on that. I make it very clear it's always better to buy in country rather than ship it, because you don't have to deal with douane, you don't have to deal with customs. That said, there's a lot of shipping companies now that really make it pretty easy to ship a car to Haiti. Like they promise you can guarantee that they'll take care of customs. You just pay a fee and then you just pick it up, right? A lot of companies, import companies offer that now, right? So I've never personally used it. I've only heard of their services. That's certainly something to think about, but I'm for stress-free. I'd rather pay a slight premium. So when you buy something right on the island, you pay a little bit more than what you pay in America, but it's going to be cheaper than the potential stress and hassle of getting out of customs. And most importantly, it's going to be cheaper, potentially, period. It might be cheaper because if you're seen as someone who isn't from here, you will get priced at a you're not from here price, rather than someone who's in the country, who knows things, who has connections to certain, to custom workers, and ensure that they get charged what they should be charged, right? So the short answer is just buy your car that's already in Haiti, from Haiti. Okay. What else do we have going on here? Francois, that's Naomi Sako's last name. Her dad's last name is Francois. So there you go. Let's get more Haitian than that. Let's get more Haitian than Francois, right? Juliet says, can you elaborate on the money transfer IRS? If you're sending money to Haiti for over 20 grand, you won't get in trouble, but it will be reported. It will be transactionally reported to the IRS, but it doesn't mean anything, right? It's just that the IRS knows that you transferred $20,000, right? That's it, right? Depending on who you are and if it's the first time you ever did such a transfer, it may be delayed because, first off, you're going to want to ensure that fraud. It's not a fraudulent. That's someone in getting access to your account and just sending money out, and that's it. I mean, the bank may ask questions about the source of this money. Originally, you may have to prove that source through prior bank statements, or if it's an insurance payout, prove where you got this money from. Because again, they have anti-money laundering, anti-drug money thing, so you have to show where exactly this money came from, right? But no, there's nothing. I mean, it's 20 grand. I mean, there's people who send more money than that, much more money than that each month. So 20 grand isn't a particularly large amount of money, believe it or not, for a lot of people, a lot of companies. I want to invest in agriculture in Haiti, but I don't want to lose my money. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. It's in business investment. You should not be an investor if you don't have a degree of appetite for loss, right? You most likely will lose money investing anywhere in the world. And when it comes to Haiti, I say this like a broken record. You shouldn't invest a penny unless you know where you're investing. You should have a plan to come to the country frequently, network, and only spend $1 here, investment-wise, until you fully are aware of the country, right? There's no real other way to do business in Haiti, other than if you're doing it yourself, other than personally being very involved with the process, right? Because Haiti doesn't really have a way to be able to invest from a distance, right? Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. What other folks are saying. Lots of conversation in here. Love it. Love it. Love it. A lot of these I'm just skipping over because I answered some of these. A lot of these are Kanye West focused, and I already answered a lot of these here. So JD asks, hey, SeeJeanty, you know someone I can contact to invest in Haiti? I would never be the one to answer that question for you, because again, I'll say this like a broken record. Haiti is a place where you invest by flying in, by getting to know the culture, getting to know the people, and by networking. Period. Right? If you're going to do a personal investment, you don't do it from a distance. You don't do it by somebody connecting you to somebody, right? And these sort of questions, I'll be honest with you, is exactly why in the coming year, I am looking to actually start an investment group. I might as well just announce it now because I get these questions so often. Because there is an incredible need for in Haitian diaspora-led investment. And there's a huge demand for the Haitian diaspora to invest in Haiti. And so certainly in the coming year, I'll be working with attorneys both in Haiti and both in America to structure the proper investment vehicle that will allow folks to contribute funds into an entity. This isn't going to be a GoFundMe or anything. It's going to be an actual privately held investment group, right? Where people with capita, right? Minimum, I'm probably going to be at least $1,000 to contribute to a fund that the entity itself executes, right? We're not looking to give money to people outside. We're going to create entities and or buy entities in Haiti that will be run by this investment group, with the explicit goal to grow a return and issue out dividends annually to the members of this investment group, right? And we're not only looking to purchase and start businesses, including export-based distribution, but also we're looking to purchase land. I know that a lot of people are very interested in wanting to get into real estate and land. We're going to be looking to purchase land and develop land and build apartments and commercial units, apartments and commercial units. So the investment group's going to have two arms, really three arms, I guess, which is the purchase and execute and running of actual businesses, including particularly export-based companies, real estate development, and actually we're gonna end up putting the a media arm in there as well, because most likely Haiti Biz News is I've expressed this many times before on the program. As much as I like spending my time and chatting with you guys, I have a bigger vision for Haiti Biz News. Haiti Biz News needs to be more than just me. Right? We can call this something else, the SeeJeanty chat hour, where I just go on live and I just chat with you guys about stuff. That's still gonna happen. Don't worry, guys. But Haiti Biz News needs to be something more. Haiti Biz News needs to be its own YouTube channel, its own website. Haiti Biz News needs to have actual journalists running day-to-day news stories. We're gonna have Haiti Biz News needs to have an hourly program where somewhere 30 minutes where an actual professional shares what's happening from a news perspective in Haiti. And of course, this is funded like any media company. It's funded by commercials, and will be funded by contracts, distribution contracts and relationships we'll have with large players, Comcast, Time Warner, et cetera, right? And that's also going to be part of the investment company's portfolio, right? And so that's coming this year, and I'm sharing this now just because that is really what's going to happen after this book's release, and it's important because I know a lot of folks really want to contribute to what's going on here in SeeJeanty, but I've never been someone who I don't need merch. I don't, that's cool. Merch isn't a thing that really drives. We'll probably still have merch for some of the things we do specifically for SeeJeanty and going out of town. But what the real purpose of everything we're doing here is to actually impact in a structural way, in a way that's lasting, right? There's a guy, Wode Maya, who's doing some really cool stuff in Ghana. And I really, as one reason I even expressed a few days on my social media, man, if I wasn't Haitian, I'd probably be in Ghana right now, given what I'm seeing that's happening in Ghana. We have African Americans and even Guyanese who grew up in Britain, grew up in America, coming back, investing, doing major investment projects in Ghana. And I'm seeing when I say major, they're building major hospitals, privately owned hospitals, privately owned clinics, privately owned apartment complexes that have as many homes as much as a few hundred units in apartment complexes, right? This is real stuff, not just your mom and pop. A guy who spends 20 years building a retirement home in Haiti. I'm talking about real projects. But Wode Maya, he's a full-time YouTuber. He's expressed that he doesn't own any land, he doesn't own any businesses, minus what he's been able to build around his YouTube content, which is great. I'm not casting shade on him, but that's why I don't like being compared to Wade Maya, even though I am focused on showing very similar things about Haiti as he does for Ghana, because my number one mission isn't to be a YouTube personality. It's to be an entrepreneur that's bringing jobs and real investment and real opportunities for Haitians in Haiti, right? And being part of that, but most importantly, as always, helping other Haitians do it. So I'm always going to continue to provide content and guides, how to invest, how to buy land, how to, do a lot of different things. I've already done. If you go to my Un New Palais series, you'll see those content about different process. And I got a lot more content to produce once the book is out. But in terms of actually structurally moving forward, we're creating an investment vehicle, and I'm gonna challenge you within the Haitian diaspora once it's out to contribute and become actual shareholders, actual participants of this entity. And it's not, yes, you're gonna be doing a great service to the country, but we're here to support commerce, meaning you give your 1,000, right, and you get a dividend, right, and then maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, you'll have the opportunity to cash out, right, and get your money back on top of and whatever else. I don't know what whatever else means. If it's literally when you bring in, you got stock, and now the valuation of the company is higher, and now you get a higher amount back. That's between me and my attorneys that we're going to set up here stateside and see how that looks like. But I'm very excited about that. I can announce it now just because I get some of these questions, and I hate saying that. I hate saying, you know what, you're on your own. You got to take it slow. I know implicitly the question is, hey, SeeJeanty, how you can help me specifically yourself. And I'll be honest here. I don't trust, this is not anything specific about Haiti. I don't trust anyone when it comes to business except myself. Straight up. I don't trust anyone except myself. And I know if I'm going to be consulting somebody to invest in the country, I could only consult them with good faith if I'm directly involved in that activity, period. Right? Because I know what I can do. I know what I've proven I can do. And I know what I want to continue to keep doing. And so anyways, that's just a pre-announcement. When the entity is fully formed and the website's out, expect a full long video on it. And we'll be accepting, contributions. We'll be accepting actual investors to come together in this investment group. And we're going to be doing real sizable projects for Haiti. Because honestly, it's not fair that the largest holder of wealth in the country is someone who ethnically isn't Haitian, right? I'm not going to say anything more than that, except to say the largest wealth holder isn't someone who's historically, his great-great-grandfather didn't fight in 1800. Put it like that. His great-great-great-great-grandfather did not fight in 1800 for our independence, right? And it's only right that, and I welcome that he's invested and he's doing great things in Haiti. I'm happy for it. But it's only right that, he should be number 2. The number 1 holder should be us, Haitian diaspora, right? And I want to build a vehicle that will allow us to be in that position where not only are we doing real sizable projects that's going to be empowering our fellow Haitians, but we can make some money doing it too, right? That's the whole point. That's why capitalism works, right? And it works multi-generationally because you're gaining money. In addition to, what this entity is going to be about, which is being socially responsible, right? Socially responsible investment, and sustainable investment, which is what this project's going to be about. All right. So yeah, thanks for that question, JD. You forced me to reveal my hand. You forced me to get into something I was going to announce actually next year. This is the last time I talk about it, by the way. This is the last time I talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it ever again. Right? I'm just going to continue with my byline. You need to take it slowly. But for those who stuck around at the 2-hour mark, you just got the inside scoop of something that's coming, and I cannot wait to re-announce again. Okay. Shirley C says, oh, I would hope the Haitian government wouldn't sell the island for easily few mil. You know, we'll see what the end price is, right? Let's see what else folks are saying. Let's get together, clean the area outside the airport, right? I agree. There's certainly a degree of responsibility amongst ourselves to clean up the country. Peter J says you should have a show in every major news network in Haiti. That would be interesting, right? But the thing is, I would push to do my show in English, which I'm not sure if the news stations would prefer that. I would hope that if this island they're interested in and has any bit of oil or resources, that they are taxed. I truly hope corruption doesn't allow leaders to sell it. Okay, I think I already read that. All right. What else are folks saying? Let me scroll up. Let's scroll up. Where are we? Let's scroll up. Okay, here we go. All right. Second, stop with the politics, man. Sorry. You know, I don't know if SeeJeanty TV was talking to me, but I don't be talking politics like that, man. Don't yell at me. Mark Joseph says, I want to confirm that Jeremie does have power. Okay, cool. For the past 2 weeks, each day, and there has been power from 6 p.m. to noon the next day. So 6 p.m. to noon. Okay, each day. All right, cool. Mark, thanks, man. Thanks for let me put that up here. Mark says, I want to confirm that Jeremie, because Mark is from Simon Jeremie, Markier. And he says, I want to confirm that Jeremie does have power for 18 hours for the past 2 weeks each day. And there's been power from 6 p.m. to noon. So thanks, Mark. Thanks for confirming that. Appreciate it, bro. Edwin says, yeah, the numbers is real in here today, for real. Haiti needs massive development. Let's see. David Durag is also Arthur. Cool stuff. I was against other nations going to Haiti trying to build dry land. But if I think Haiti needs it right now, more than just jobs, more tourism, more diaspora investment. I agree with you for sure. Edwin Williams says, yes, Haiti needs the massive investment, but simultaneously needs better financial. I totally agree with you. Nate Lassure, Nate is on your brother. I hope you're still in the chat. I'm not sure, but you wrote that about 30 minutes ago. Good to see you, Nate. Appreciate you, bro. Can't wait to drop this next episode, man. It's going to be really great. Nate says, SeeJeanty is the real deal. Thanks for all you do to promote the positive image of the country. Much respect. We need to stop waiting around and relying on others and to come change the situation. We are the change we desire. Each one of us starts by changing our mindset. Totally agree with you, Nate. I'll leave that up for a little bit. I think you guys need to be able to read that. That second part. It's really important. We really have to be able to galvanize ourselves. I appreciate that. Music Lover says, ask the neighbors around the area where you're buying land, who owns the land. My family members have lots of property Haitians that are selling other people's lands. So let me switch that over to Music Lover 2. That's great. It's really important. That's one important thing you really have to do. Knock on doors and triple confirm, you know, who owns this land? What's the name of the person? Right? And they'll tell you. Everyone knows, oh, that's met such and such land. Right? So really important. That's a very important component of that strategy, and you can only do that if you're physically here, which is why I advise you to do that and be physically here for that. Right? Edwin says we need to think outside the box, but we definitely need to reinvent the wheel, good management, and consistency. Right? Haiti is a land of opportunity by SeeJeanty TV. Certainly agree with you. Let's see. Juliet asks, why there never a price on anything in Haiti? Why is there a price difference between diaspora and local? I mean, that's true for everywhere you go, man. Have you never traveled anywhere? Like when you travel anywhere, there's the tourist price, and then there's the price for everyone else. And the tourist is always charged more. So it's not anything unique to Haiti. Come on. SeeJeanty says, I didn't forget. How do I get my 23? I don't know what you're talking about, Alexis. I have no idea what you're talking about. I wish, Leah Cannon says, I wish Haitian artists would come together and have a summit in Haiti and share their ideas and creativity. And that would be a great idea. I agree. Right. In the diaspora, they could definitely help with tourism, right? Jimmy Jean-Louis, Sardage, Bertin, Jason Derulo, Maxwell, etc. Haitian artists in America right now. I mean, they've come to Haiti. Everyone you mentioned, they've come to Haiti. They posted about coming to Haiti. I think Jason Derulo did a music video recently. Siraj is always in Haiti, always talking about Haiti, right? I mean, I guess maybe they should do something together. Is that what you're trying to say? But they're always in Haiti. They're always repping Haiti hard, right? Peter J says the investment group and land real estate is the best news is the best news ever. Certainly. I look forward to, again, formally getting it ironed down. Next time I announce it, again, we'll have a much more structural idea of how it's going to be once I have spoken to lawyers and making sure that we fully registered with who we need to register, SEC, whoever we need to register with. We'll make sure we have to register. Right. A startup says startup life. What's up, Whitney? How are you? The investment vehicle is important. Education component would be great as well. A few relatives with land who have no idea how to capitalize it would be interested. I like that you mentioned that, because I will always, the book will be there for educational purposes. That we'll still keep making YouTube content, educating folks about how to move forward and do their own thing. And I'm even thinking about doing something else where in the coming year, something to allow folks to have direct access to me at a reasonable price, where folks can constantly be able to ask questions about how to do things in Haiti, right? I don't want it's just think about it like I hate to say it like this, but think about it like an OnlyFans, right? But let's say it'll be a private WhatsApp channel where folks can ask me any smart or dumb question about what they're doing at any time, and I can respond, for a very nominal fee, right? And I have to do it this way because I'm running 3 businesses. I work full-time as a consultant for a company doing IT data analytics, and I have a wife. I got to give my wife some attention, right? So between all that and having a little bit of a life, I have to, if I'm going to etch out time to work with other people and keep that educational component but particularly specific, it has to be compensated in some way to be able to be justified, right? And so that's also something else that's going to be on the table in the coming year when that comes out, right? And it's going to be affordable, $20, $25 a month or something like that, and folks can have full conversational access to me, at least through a WhatsApp channel, perhaps, right? So something to think about. I'm just spitballing things that are coming up in there. You feel free to let me know if that's crazy, if that's something that would interest you, with you guys. I'll bring that up again when I'm a little closer to actually executing it. Just some thoughts that's been swirling in my head there recently. Right? So Elam says someone like Union Suite who has influence in the entertainment world could, when it comes to, I guess, galvanizing people together for Haiti and doing things in Haiti, I guess, is that what you meant? Let's see. Leanne, do you guys actually like the Union Suite? I wish they would post more Haitian GoFundMes to support people. I think they focus too much on memes and funny videos. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The Union Suite and so many others in that domain of social media, they put up what people respond to, right? And so if Union Suite's putting up memes and funny videos, it's because when they've put up other things like GoFundMes, like things related to more educational and things of that sort, there's less engagement. People have not engaged on the level that it makes sense for them to continue to put that, versus if they put something on GoFundMe and it gets maybe 50 likes, and they post a funny video and it gets 20,000 views and 10,000 likes, Guess what? They're now incentivized to put more of that on. Right? And so, you know, that's my 2 cents. Right? I never really judge media per se. Because I always say, you know, media is a perfect reflection of society, of a society or a group as a whole, right? And if you're seeing a lot of something, because there's a lot of people of your group that wants to see it, because media ultimately is created to be consumed, right? Even though here in SeeJeanty, I just create what I want to create. I always tell people, like, people like who are trying to get at me, like, man, this is why you have so many subscribers and why you have so many views. Because if you did it, and they're going in on me, and I'm like, I don't want a lot of subscribers. I don't want a lot of views. I just want to be able to connect with a handful of people who get it, right? I want to connect with a handful of people who get it, you know, who get what Haiti needs, and on top of that, who have the mindset to act, who have the mindset to say, it's not just about watching and commenting, which is great. We need to take that next level, which is we need to act, you know, because Haiti can only improve when we act, and we do it together, right? And so I'm Gucci, believe me. In fact, I dread. People don't believe when I say this. I dread the day when I have a lot of subscribers. Like I have 15 or 20. I'll be honest. I don't think there's 15, 20,000 productive, you know, people, you know, for Haiti. I'll be, you know, I'm being a little cynical here, but I don't think there's that many Haitians that are out there, you know, who are really, you know, about that life, so to speak, right? But I guess we'll see. I'll be happy to be proven wrong. More than happy to be proven wrong, right? Let's see, what else were we saying? Sandra Noel, appreciating the idea of that, of the investment group. Great stuff. Jermaine says Kanye went to the north. I want him to go in the south, like Jeremie, Il Calumet, Ans Blanche, Isava. So much beautiful places that needs to be discovered. I agree. There's a lot of very beautiful places in the south. Avril is a Haitian NFL player who's very involved in Haiti, but is more philanthropy than investment in Haiti. Unfortunately, that's how so many people view Haiti. You know, they view Haiti as a philanthropy place, not a place to invest and build things, and that needs to change. And hopefully, you know, what we're doing here on SeeJeanty will help influence that in a positive light, positive direction. Okay. Can you explain the use of cryptocurrency in the light of instability of the dollar in Haiti? There is no cryptocurrency for Haiti. There isn't. Cryptocurrency isn't an option, particularly for Haiti. You know, there's no banks that you can directly port a cryptocurrency account and port it out. You would have to wire it to a U.S. bank account, or at least a Dominican bank account, and then you can port it into an app or port it into a cryptocurrency application, right? So as it stands, the short answer is there isn't a way for a Haitian to participate in the cryptocurrency game, right? And as for, you know, a Haitian American, then yeah, I mean, the same reasons why you already know why cryptocurrency is great. You certainly should, if you have the capacity to have a U.S. bank account and convert money into that asset. You certainly should, right? But it being an integral part of Haiti right now, this doesn't exist. I mean, listen, we don't even have PayPal here. You know, I can't tell you how long it's going to take before we'll have cryptocurrency access, right? And again, I consider cryptocurrency access is literally an app will recognize a Haitian bank account and pull your money from that bank account without a wire transfer fee necessarily, right? I think I saw a question here I think I want to answer. The Breeze family says, I wish Haiti had power 24/7. You and me both, though I'm talking to you right now with solar panels on my office, so I'm fine either way, right? But that's not the case for many, many Haitians. Rabbit Hole says, hey, SeeJeanty, you need to get in contact with Brother Love in Haiti. Don't worry, actually, happy to report Brother Love and I have been connected through Philly Dom, through our conversation yesterday. And in fact, I briefly spoke with Brother Love today, and very happy to have to be connected with Brother Love. But I think the way you guys are asking, I may have to eventually do a video with him, just just so you guys can chill. We'll see. We'll see if we make that happen at some point in the coming weeks to months. Let's see. Well, people won't invest their hard-earned money without a guarantee. I mean, there's no such thing as a guarantee in investment. I don't know what you mean, SeeJeanty TV. There's no such thing, right? Now these are for the people who are going to do it anyways, right? But who are looking for an avenue to do it. I'm not. One thing about this channel and what we do here, I'm not here to convince anyone to do business in Haiti. I'm not. Right? In fact, I'll probably convince you otherwise. I'll probably tell you, you probably need to relax. You probably need to chill. You know, that's one of the reasons why I tell folks to take their time. You know, really do your research, do your homework. You know, Haiti's a special animal, and you really have to take it slowly and make sure when you do finally decide to pull the trigger, you are fully cognizant of every possible scenario, every possible input, and every possible output that may happen. Right? I'm very clear with people. Right? And so what this investment group will eventually be. It really isn't. I'm not here to. I'm gonna drop one video on it, and that's it. Like, you know, I'm not gonna be trying to convince people to participate. Right? I'm gonna be doing it anyways, and it's a way for people to also, you know, participate in that activity in a way that will give you as much security as any other investment vehicle that you may use. Right? Because any investment vehicle you use in America, there's a chance that the stock will go down. You know, but you get your money out. At least the value of your stock prices, right, or your shares, right, depending on the value of the entity at the time that you're looking to get it back, right. So I don't know what you mean. People want to invest. I don't need people to invest if they think there's going to be a guarantee involved. You know, that's not there's no sentence that exists that where there's the word invest and guarantee in the same sentence, right? To invest by definition means there is no guarantee. You know, anything can happen, right? To the market as a whole, where you lose your money. I think at most you just want to make sure you're not investing into a scam, obviously, right? But you know, for legitimate investments, there is no such thing as a guarantee, right? Mike Collins says all these celebrities out here who love the dabble in clothing in Haiti would be good to spot to manufacture clothes. And I agree with you, certainly agree. Dan says go invest in the provinces. I certainly think there's great opportunities in the provinces. I certainly agree with you. Mayor St. Germain says, I live in a country where people keep mistreating us because of our nationality. I'm not comfortable there. Wish I could be in my own country. This is frustrating. I'm young and full of potential. Mayor St. Germain, I think a lot of people feel the same way you feel. Certainly, a lot of people feel the same way you feel. And certainly, the day Haiti understands that there is just a wave of people, energetic people who really want to come back and really want to impact the change of Haiti, right? The day Haiti really appreciates this is the day Haiti changes overnight. The day Haiti really allows the Haitian diaspora to fully plug in politically, economically, in every way, easily, right? And takes measures to protect the diaspora in terms of legality, in terms of overall security, and so many other things. You know, the same way Kanye is being protected right now, or has been this weekend. Every single Haitian diaspora looking to invest in the country should have that level of treatment. And until that happens, let me tell you, when that happens, let me tell you, Haiti changes overnight, right? Phil Charles says, thanks for being willing to share yourself, and thank your wife for willing to share a bit of you with us. No problem, Philip. I appreciate you. I appreciate that comment. And for sure. Thank you, brother. Jay Saint, I think you're being real cynical. I believe there's a lot of Haitian diaspora that have money on hand and a willingness to invest, but don't have or don't know the proper route to use. I think Jay Saint was probably responding to something I said earlier. I don't know which specific thing I said But I'm probably right. Thanks for calling me out on it. I can be cynical, 100%. And but I don't. Everything else you said, I don't disagree with anything else you said though. There are a lot of Haitian diaspora who are looking to invest. I don't know if Jason was talking to me. Maybe Jason was talking to someone else. I don't know. But everything else you said there, I totally agree with you. I think that's one of the reasons why I do the content I do, to help empower them to make good decisions when they actually pull the trigger. Right? So I don't. Maybe you're talking to someone else, Jason. Rabbit Hole says, "Thank you, Dill. I seen your video through Life in Haiti. She's my favorite. Brother Love, they're doing great work in the community. They love their country and helping the Haitian people. Yep, they are doing some great stuff." I was referring to Riot Burning Disukaj, and it was regarding the comment on the chat. Okay. All right. Thanks for clarifying there, Sangila. I guess to respond to that, I do want to respond to that. It is unfortunate during the worst of our riots in Haiti that some businesses do get affected. But I can tell you, most businesses don't get affected to that level, for sure. Most businesses who properly take preventative measures are usually safe during these sort of things. Because one thing, if you ever, Sangila, I'm sure you've been to Haiti, right? I'm sure you've driven around Haiti. There's high walls for a reason, right? There's ballistic hurricane-proof shutters for a reason, right? And the places that unfortunately do get looted and etc., they weren't properly infrastructured for déchoucage. I hate to say it like that, right? But when you're in Haiti, you have to build and you have to prepare for anything that has a very high likelihood of happening. And during times of high political unrest, there, and if you're someplace like if you're on the street, for example, and not in a tucked away area, there's certain areas that are more prone to, for example, Route Del Mar. Obviously, if you're on Route Del Mar, come on, and you don't have proper infrastructure. That's one reason why Bunge. I remember when Bunge got ransacked. I always looked at Bunge before they built what they have now. I always said this is a risk. They're not really protected from the eventuality of just lots of people on the street and a small percentage that are looking to do bad. They're not really protected. And guess what? When Bunge rebuilt and reopened, they have some really high walls, and it's damn near impossible for what happened before to happen. And I share that with you, Sangala TV, to say, even that what you said, there's ways to protect oneself from them, right? You just have to make sure you factor that in to your business model and you protect against it. All right. Okay. Let's see. What else we got here? Working on creating a video game, and that's why I'm not being here anymore. My Libertaire, what's up, man? What's up with my Libertaire? Good to see you. So he's working on a video game. Takes some time, but just say what's up. I appreciate you dropping in and saying what's up, my Libertaire. You're appreciated, brother. Thank you. Yeah, let's see. When you change the banner. Yeah, I think investors are just looking for consistent returns, regardless of the conditions. Because the fact is, investors don't think like everyone else. I don't. I wouldn't be here if I did, right? I see the opportunity, no matter what the conditions, and so investors don't really care as much, given the inputs you're thinking about, as much. But it certainly isn't a good thing to have an investor lose what they put in because of a déchoucage, because the people they're working with, their partners on the ground, didn't have the savvy to instruct them that we probably need to double our walls and make sure we put shutters on our windows so that can be quickly pulled down when Jovenel Moise in the middle of the day during a Brazil match says he's going to increase gas prices by 50%. This is the first déchoucage. That's what happened. Right in the middle of the day, this great leader of ours decided, okay, I'm just going to double gas prices in Haiti in the middle of the day. Right. So again, a lot of our issues have a direct line to our political structure and the day that our government, our politics. All right, sorry about that, guys. Thank you. I should be back online here. Literally, my internet just I had to change my internet box there. I should be back. I should be back. Right. So let's read. Let's read the final comments here. Provinces are safer. Let's see. By the Constitution, people have a right to respect and strengthen their right to buy land. The government has the power to rent or at least make one deal. All right, so I think I read all the comments for today, right? And so certainly I want to thank you guys for sticking around, for pushing on 3 hours, it's been an absolute pleasure to be here to talk to you guys. I really do this as a way to communicate and chat and share information and share knowledge. And again, we had an incredible showing today, 180 plus at peak, which is, if it was inherent, organic, great, because of part of Philly Dom, even greater, right? And again, guys, so we had a great show today where we, for those who came in late, allow this to reboot, and you can see the news stories that we covered. We talked about COVID. We talked about the Cuban Medical Brigade in Haiti. We talked about the Cuban Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act. We talked about the good the good currency increase. I'm sorry. We talked about the big debit cards having connectivity to other bank and credit unions, no matter what the ATM machine. We talked about new import regulations. We talked about agriculture, different agricultural news. We talked about inflation. We talked about the Digital Foundation. Major works completed. We talked about electricity in Jeremie. We talked about electricity networks being bidded on. We talked about superstars in Haiti, Naomi Osaka, and we also had a very long conversation about Kanye West being in the country. I want to thank you so much, guys, for being on Haiti Biz News and everyone contributing. Remember, we had a brand new YouTube SeeJeanty that we went to Patiwa Pizza. I'm telling you, it was very difficult to edit and put together because the food tasted so good, and I kept watching people. Remember, the Square Cash is there if you enjoyed the show and you want to contribute directly to some of the content and some of the things going on at SeeJeanty Media. You're more than welcome. But again, the way you can really impact and be of massive help to what we're doing here is to share this live, share on your Facebook, share it on your WhatsApp groups, share it on your LinkedIn, share it across, share it everywhere, right? And of course, especially if you contribute, especially if you commented today, you're a co-host. You are part of this conversation. You have as much ownership to the show as I do, and so do share your participation. Share it, right? Share it, and I can't say enough. Share it. Also, hit the like button. By the way, it helps the algorithm. The algorithm of YouTube and Facebook. The more you like it, the more it actually will try to find other people like you to give this content to. So in a way, when you like a video, it's as if you're sharing it because you're telling YouTube and you're telling Facebook, hey, I like it, and I'm pretty sure people like me will like it. And so do go ahead and like the stream, right? All right, I'll just type in a response here, right? All right, guys, and that's it. that's a wrap. Again, I want to appreciate it. We'll be back next Sunday at 11 a.m. Next Sunday at 11 a.m. And guys, until we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again. Peace.